Hi, classmates. It's Kim Roth here with this week's nutrition case study from my SEL. Oops. Whoa. Let me back that up a second. There we go. So, if you didn't see my thing last week, I just figured I'd add the same slide in. Just where I am, I'm at a skilled nursing facility that specializes in the care of adults on ventilators. It's in Philadelphia, and it's a smaller facility, but 60 beds. And there is one registered dietitian and me, the intern. So this week's patient is LW. She's a 62-year-old African-American female, height of 5 feet 5 inches, weight of 143, and her BMI falls in the normal range, 23.8. Her diagnoses. Okay, so the blue diagnoses is that was kind of like all part of the same episode, we'll say, and then the white, I guess, is kind of like her more chronic underlying issues. So she struggles with hypertension. She has diabetes, anemia. She has some substance abuse on and off issues, according to one of her children, her adult children. The blue is what brought her into the hospital initially, and then we got her from the hospital later on. So she had an event where she, was thrown into cardiac arrest, had some anoxic brain injury, which then caused some respiratory failure. So she is now ventilator dependent and has dysphagia. Okay, so at this point, now that she's kind of like stabilized and is with us and out of her out of the more critical time in the hospital. These are her most recent lab values. So most recently, and honestly, nothing was that concerning or out of the realm of what would be even normal given her case. So her glucose was a little high, but she is a diabetic, and it wasn't really that high anyway. And then these other things were just kind of all indicative of her being anemic, which kind of made sense. And also with her respiratory issues too, that kind of all fits together. She's not on all that many medications compared to some of the other people at this facility. So here's what she's on and why she's on it. So she's on two things for just her hypertension. That is apparently something she's been struggling with for a while. That this is how it's controlled. She is on omeprazole for some GERD issues. She's on that like albuterol solution for her respiratory needs, and then she has a patch for nausea, vomiting. That must have happened. There must have been some episodes that indicated she needed that. The RD I work with wasn't exactly sure about that one there, but that seems to make sense. So we don't have a whole lot of information in terms of her social and lifestyle history because she, with an anoxic brain injury, she is nonverbal and non-responsive. So we can't get any information out of her. And of her 3 children, as you can see on the screen, only one of them was able to be reached on the phone by the social worker and wasn't really all that interested in providing tons of information. So this is what we do know. We do know that she's had a history of cocaine use. We do know that she's single, has 3 grown children, and we do know that she currently, before this happened, she was living with her mother. That's really all we know. Interestingly enough, she actually looks okay. Her weights were stable in the hospital and have been stable with us. She's been with us for a couple months now. She appears well nourished. So in her physical examination, her nutrition focused physical exam, she's not really presenting any signs of malnutrition, which I would think she would have, but right now she is not. So no noted fluid accumulation. Her skin's intact. She's got some fat padding. She's got some muscle that's still there. So given that she did not click any of the boxes for malnutrition, I'm going with the PES statement for her dysphagia. So basically, because she has dysphagia, here's the PES statement. So she has swallowing difficulty related to an anoxic brain injury and a subsequent vegetative state, as evidenced by the results of the SLP eval. her NPO status and the need for enteral nutrition. And so her intervention is based on her keeping her weight stable. So we have her on her EN tube feedings. She's getting Gevity 1.5 at 55 milliliters an hour for 22 hours. So that's kind of standard policy at this facility is to do everything by 22 hours. Because I guess they take an hour, I think, at the start and stop of each shift. So that gives us a total volume of 1,210 milliliters, which equals 1815 kcals, which works out to 28, it says grams, should be 28 kcals per kilogram. And the protein that she's getting from that is 77 grams of protein, which is 1.2 grams per kilogram of body weight. For monitoring and evaluation, we're just, doing the normal procedure with her. She is pretty stable. Monitoring her weights, her labs, her skin integrity, her tube feeding tolerance. We're evaluating the data. We are going to be, I say we, but I mostly mean like the social worker is going to be, she regularly tries to get in contact with her, with her family to try to figure out what their plan is for her long term. So right now, we actually don't really know what her plan is long term. Do they plan on leaving her with us? Do they plan on looking for somewhere else for her to go? Well, I'm actually not sure. So it will be interesting to see how this progresses. If it progresses, it's kind of a sad situation. Oh, yes. So I guess we'll see. Stay tuned. Thanks. See you next time.